The Americans by Robert Frank. What can I say about this book? This is the Stidle 2014 edition. The book was first published back in 1958. And, 1958. And I think, I had the original Stidle edition, the 2008. This is the one in 2014. This is the 7th edition. I don't know where I put the other one, but this is the one I have. This is the only one I've got at the minute. It's a lovely size. Let's have a little measure. It is 8.5 by 7.5. Robert Frank is a really important figure in, I would say, street photography. Robert travelled across America in the mid-50s with his Leica on it, and I'm not sure what car he had, but he travelled through every state, I think about 40-odd states he went through. And Robert Frank is sort of regarded as one of the main sort of inspirations behind Gary Winograd, Joel Mitovich, Lee Freelander, all of these sort of guys out on the streets taking pictures. And I think Robert Frank was that first sort of photographer to go and just travel around America and wander and just see America for what it was in the mid-50s. And I was reviewing Homer Sykes' book, On the Road Again, and that was Homer's almost homage to the Americans and where Homer traveled around America. Homer took a different stance with his in terms of his style, and it was quite an abstract format in a way in some of it, and I think, which I liked, and I think with Robert Frank's work, it's just a view of his everyday things and how it was. It was quite literal, some of the photographs, and it's not trying to be over abstract with the shots, and it's showing a lot of different variations in class and social divide. It's looking at post-war America really, and where it's at the time, and I think that's as much as you need really. I'm going to go through some of it. You can pick this book pretty easily on Amazon. It's definitely a must for a sort of historical beginning with street photography. Yeah, you've got Bresson and you've got all the other people shooting street stuff in France and around in the 50s and stuff like that. But for me, Robert Frank really sets the scene in America. He sets the scene for street photographers. And he's got an introduction by Jack Kerouac, who I presume was friends of him at the time. And there's a lovely quote in this. Let me find it. So Jack Kerouac, a famous on-the-road author, everything about Kerouac was get up and go, and get up and just travel and discuss your feelings, and it was all very reportagey, and Kerouac was renowned for just doing everything in one go, a bit like the way Frank's done this. And I think there was something like 27,000 images shot, and I think there's a final 83 images in here. Let me just find this quote by Kerouac. I love it. So here we go. To Robert Frank, I now give this message. This is after his quote. You got eyes. And I say, the little old lonely elevator girl looking up sign in an elevator full of blurred demons. What's her name and address? So that's the classic. That's a great Kerouac, chat up line. Who is that beautiful girl? I'll show you the picture in a minute. In the lift. And just to sort of pay homage to Frank, saying, man, you've got eyes here. And that's from somebody like from Kerouac as well, whose vision and whose understanding of being on the road is incredible and well documented. So let's dig through this. Let's have a look at it. Let's just take it for what it is. It's a man and his camera looking at mid-50s America and discovering himself and discovering America. If you like this, buy it. Also, check out Homer Sykes' On the Road Again. Done, I think, about 69, about 15 years later. Let's have a look at it. Parade, Hoboken, New Jersey. That's quite abstract, so that's quite an interesting take. That's in New Jersey. So looking at the sort of, it's called the City Fathers. Let me just jump down. The format's quite simple with this book. It's all on one page. So I'm going to go through some of the interesting ones. I'll try and find the Elevator Girl. I think from the Elevator Girl, I'll jump a few. So we've got look at that face. Let me jump down again. So we've got the Elevator Girl coming up. Okay, sorry. Look at that face. So we've got High Society, Political Rally, Chicago, Funeral, St. Helena, South Carolina, in with the black community. You've got to remember, this is 50s America, and you didn't have, everything to Robert Frank must have been a new experience, because we didn't have the communication we have now, and it's like you almost going to a foreign country to explore it. You sort of know what to expect, but you always get the unexpected. And I think with what Robert Frank was doing, he sort of knew what to expect, and probably knew less what to expect, but was always surprised. And I think there's a beauty and an innocence with all these pictures, which inspired so many people. Rodeo, Detroit, Savannah, Georgia, the squatty, lighting up a cigarette for the girl as well. By the looks of it, there's 2 cigarettes there. Doesn't work that well up this format on. That's a bit better. We'll leave it at that. So this is Navy Recruiting Station Post Office, Butte, Montana. I wonder if that's significant with the feet up there, because post-war there might be not much room for recruiting then. En route from New York to Washington, the club bar, the classic American bar fly sort of feel. Movie premiere, Hollywood. Candy store, New York City. Time of affluence now, post-war America was about, consumerism and music and rock and roll and all these new goods, Motorama, Los Angeles. That's, I guess, is a outdoor cinema. New York City now is sort of almost sort of girl, sort of maybe gay community. Doesn't say it all. Charleston, South Carolina, the white and the black divide, and there was still probably a lot of racial tension still shooting around the country. So the Elevator Girl, where's the Elevator Girl? Let me see if I can. Well, there's a couple of classic pictures before we get to that. I thought the Elevator Girl was a bit earlier on, to be honest. Let me see if I can find it. Ranch Market, Hollywood. And this is all new to Robert Frank at the time, he was a photographer, he was a commercial photographer. I'm not sure where he was situated. It might have been in New York, I might be totally wrong. So obviously going to LA and places, or going right across west to east, is going to be a really new experience for him. And I can see why he's inspired Gary, somebody like Gary Winogrand. I can just totally see it. I guess because film was quite accessible as well, and all sorts of that accessibility to be able to do this, to get in your car and go and do stuff which not many people have done, Not even now, even if you think about all the people, what we see, is not many people have done something like this. The classic trolley, New Orleans, it's the cover. Canal Street, New Orleans. They're just looking at all the different cultural aspects, all the people. And it's the composition as well, it's the movement, it's the feel. This is like really ahead of its time, Bunker Hill, Los Angeles. I did read somewhere there was some technical stuff. There was a lot of pictures underexposed, a lot of pictures overexposed, and I think there's 27,000 shots as well. So I don't want to make too much of that. I read something about that. I know it was shot on a Leica. Wow. Georgetown, South Carolina. Las Vegas, the jukebox. Music was really sort of, rock and roll, and Bill Haley and Elvis Presley. Hotel lobby, Miami. Look at that. View from hotel window, Butte, Montana. It does make you want to just go and travel, doesn't it? Just looking at it. I can see why Homer Sykes, at a student age, and this book then only being like 10 years old, and being inspired by Bresson and by in inspiring with America, especially with it being America, because it was such a long way away, and it's just sort of a real eye-opener for everybody to see this and go, wow, I want to go and copy that. Metropolitan Life Building, New York. Jehovah's Witness, Los Angeles, Bar Gallup, New Mexico, Ocala, North Pallet, Nebraska. Look at that. Oh, look at them houses. It looks like the farm security shot, isn't it? Looks like crap, so that's Nevada. Oh, yeah. Leaving Blackfoot, Ohio. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at the car, how old it is. We've got to think about, looks so quiet and silent, and what conversation he had and how he got there, and it just there's a sort of intrigue to it as well, St. Petersburg, Florida. Where is my lift girl? I've started something here, haven't I? She's miles away. When I looked at this before, I was sure the lift girl, she's definitely, there she is, right. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at that. St. Petersburg, Florida. Look at that, beautiful. Long Beach, California. And there's the lift girl. I can see why Kerouac was wanting her number. That's a lovely little statement from Kerouac. It's a great way of chatting up a girl, to sort of say, or chatting up someone a member from the opposite sex, going, I like her. And she might. I wonder if she ever got this. I wonder if, who knows, if she ever saw herself. I wonder how many people never saw themselves in this book, which became a sort of Bible to future photographers. What Frank's done here is given quite quickly other photographers an excuse to get out and find themselves and find out what's on their doorsteps. He's made it sort of happen and made it possible. He's given almost no sense of purpose, whereas people were out shooting pictures for a reason. Even though there's a reason in this, there is no reason. It's just get out and find and see what happens, and then we called it street photography. Then there is a reason. I'm going a bit too off track here. Baton Rouge. And I can so see why. And I have to admit, when I first looked at this book a few years ago, when I first got it, I thought it was okay. I thought some of the pictures were just okay, but when you put a time frame on it and you look at it back when it was shot, I got it. I understood it. I understood what it was about. I understood why, and I understood why people got inspired on it with it later on. Oh, that's in Chicago. Beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. That's abstract again. I shouldn't have said it wasn't abstract. Bank, Houston, Texas. Oh, look at that. Rodeo, New York City. I think Homer paid homage to that sort of style in his book. And you can see where Homer got the inspiration from to go out and do that. Cafeteria, San Francisco, look at that. Chattanooga, Tennessee, isn't that beautiful? Depth of field. I have left a lot out. I think you should go and buy this. I think you should get onto Amazon and buy it, or go onto Stidle and buy it from Stidle. This is in Belle Isle, Detroit. Picnic Ground, Glendale, California. What a job, eh? What a way to spend your time. Getting in your car and documenting what you see and what's in front of you, and learning about your own culture and your own people. And this is like 60 years old. It's beautiful. And thankfully, let's find the fine picture. Thankfully, that was the final picture. US 90 en route to Del Rio, Texas. Get out and do Route 66. What I was going to say was not get out and just do Route 66 for the sake of it. Get out and do what Dench does, Peter Dench does, he's just done the A1. Get out and do something. Get out and let this stuff inspire you. But thankfully, for the third time, is Robert Frank still very much alive. And the chances of him reading this are probably quite slim, but thank you, Robert. I'm sure, you've left your legacy here and you've inspired a lot of people. Thank you.